Hello everyone and welcome to this intro video to GenAIScript. My name is Pelly. GenAIScript is a scripting framework on top of JavaScript to build applications that use LLM, those large language models. I want to show you how to get started today. If you want to read more about GenAIScript, we have a pretty extensive documentation website here, and you can also jump into the getting started. There's a lot of documentation how to configure your LLM provider, whether it's OpenAI, Azure OpenAI, and all the other ones. And this is something you'll have to do to get started. Worth mentioning that if you use Codespaces, it's pre-configured for you and you'll get access to the GitHub Marketplace model if you have access to that. All right, so what we're going to do is jump to VS Code and we're going to work from there. So first we're going to install the extension. If you don't want to install extensions, we have a command line tool as well. And you can do most of it using that. Let's go ahead and install that. You can see it's installed. The view is visible here. And GenAI scripts are scripts. They are JavaScript scripts. So we're going to go and create a new script. There we go. Create a new script. Call it poem. And let's talk about it. So what you see here is that you got a JavaScript file. It's an MJS file. So manage module JavaScript. So it's using ESM. We also have a $, function, and that's a global function that is provided by GenAIScript, since these programs are meant to run through our command line tool or through our VS Code integration. So this is a non-standard function that comes with the context of GenAIScript. The purpose of this program is to build a set of messages that we're going to send to the LLM. The whole point of this program is to build a prompt, and then we'll analyze and munch the output of the LLM for you. So in this case, write a short poem in code. I'm going to skip that and write a short poem. To run this, I'm going to right click. I'm going to run GenAIScript here. It's going to use my secrets that are stored in this .m file. So let's go and do that. And it went ahead and it's showing me the poem. There's a trace, so we're here in the view. So this is the trace view. You can drill into what configuration. So we use OpenAI here, GPT-4o. We can drill into the chat, what happened there, which messages we sent. We can drill even deeper into what curl command we send to the LLM. So there's a lot of good stuff in the trace when you start working with these LLMs. But let's change this. So, we got a poem. That's great. That's what we wanted. But we're going to change that. And instead, we're going to try to write a poem about a file in our project. And the project language doesn't matter because LLMs can pretty much talk we're analyzing any programming language that the LLM would understand it. So in this case, I have this .bicep file. This is a specific language for Azure to configure clouds. Doesn't matter what it does. And I want to write a poem about that. Now, what I can do, and we're going to jump into one of the concepts that's important in GenAIScript. I'm going to get the files that the user selected. So what I mean by that is, if I'm in the UI of GenAIScript and I right-click, I can say Run GenAIScript. And that is going to populate this anv.files. I can also take a whole folder and run on it. So then I'm going to get multiple files. So once I have these files, it's an array of workspace files, I can use another global function called def. And I'm going to define file. I'm going to put files in it. All right. And now here I'm going to say, write a short poem about file. So I've defined my context. I've pulled in the content of these files, and now I'm going to ask it to reason about it. And we render this in a way that is friendly to the LLM. All right, so you run this. File is empty because I ran it from this UI element. There's no default file, but it's easier when you're debugging to define a default set of file locations. So here we can go and copy the relative path. If you're in Windows, you have to fix this to support the encoding. And we run again. It's running, it's producing tokens. If you want to see what's going on at the server, you can also open the terminal view, scroll up, and you see that it returned a set of tokens here. In fact, you can see the colors here, that's the return. Each color is an alternation of the token. So as we restream back the answer, the response of the LM, you can see how it's tokenizing the answer. And we can do more visualization using log props and stuff that we can see later on. All right, so let's see. It's writing a poem about files. You know, it's a beautiful poem. That's not really what you want to do with this main.bicep. What we're going to do is change the prompt and tell it that it's an expert at Azure Bicep and analyze the content file and report errors and warnings. Right, so it's kind of like a little linter that we want to build here. So I'm going to run this again. And you can see that we have an error. Blah, blah, blah. It's not a valid value at this location. We got an error here in the standard VS Code error location. So I can click that. Click here. And you can see we also have now the squiggle, the message. The message was produced by GenAIScript. So all this machinery is there for you. We have this, you know, we tell the LM how to report errors. We parse it out. We put it in VS Code if we have to, and so forth. Now, I have a tool that's parameterized now, so I can also go, let's say, in a different folder and find another file like this one, and I can say run poem. Now you can see that it's running something else. It's producing actually a lot of warnings and errors. All right, so we've got 4 warnings, 1 error, and these are also annotated in the file. Great, so I got a reusable prompt, and typically, you know, there might be, the LM might be wrong, so you might start evolving this, this script and adding more options. All right, but the last step, you know, we've done this for, I'm going to create a new, let's see. Now what I want to do is run this from the command line tool. I'm going to say run GenAIScript poem and then run it on this web app main.bicep. Right, so that's kind of the last step, running it through the command line and automating that. And we'll cover more how you can integrate this into GitHub Actions or Azure DevOps pipelines and so forth. So it ran, it produces a warning. We're happy. You could do something like, now if I wanted to do everything.bicep, I'd probably run in trouble because I'm analyzing everything. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to say only analyze.bicep file. And then, yes, I can just send everything. Now, in a decent sized project, you're going to maybe run into, you're going to blow up the context here because you've created, you know, too many tokens. So that's also an output. So in this case, you could, instead of run, do a convert, which runs GenAIScript separately on each bicep file. There's a lot of, so point is, there's a lot of ways you can take a script, automate that, and extract value out of it. Now you can see it's the downside of NPX. It's trying to check whether there's an update. So you can also install it locally and not having to deal with that. It's analyzing our first file, and then it's analyzing the next one. And that is also an interesting one where it's a quick and easy way to apply AI to a number of files. All right, so that is kind of our demo of GenAIScript. The first demo. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, read the docs, and hopefully having fun scripting these LMs. Have a good one.